Seeing a West End show is a must if you're visiting London. But what if English isn't your first language? Is it still worth doing it, or is it just a waste of money? In this video, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about experiencing London theatre scene if you're a non-native English speaker. This video is divided in two sections. First, a few things that you need to know about London theatre scene, and then I'm going to share with you 5 recommendations on which shows to see. If you're wondering who is this person talking to me about theatre, then hi, I am Christina and I go to theatre a lot. This year I want to see 52 shows. On this channel I share my reviews and experiences. If you're interested in any of that, then make sure to subscribe. Let's start with a few tips and tricks when it comes to London theatre scene. The first question is London theatre scene actually worth the hype? And my simple answer is yes. There are only 2 places in the world where you can experience theatre on such scale, and that is London's West End and Broadway. There's nowhere else in the world that you can really immerse yourself in musicals, plays, other shows. Just the culture around theatre in London is incredible. And if you are visiting, I definitely think you should try and check out at least one show. So now we've established that London theatre scene is something that you must experience. My second tip is actually to go for musical rather than the play, because I think that it is way easier to follow a musical for a non-native English speaker than it is to fully immerse yourself in a play that is just words. As you are familiar, musicals have songs, they have dances, and generally they're a little bit more engaging, and it's a little bit easier to understand the whole story from everything that is happening on stage, rather than just being focusing on the words like it normally is if you're seeing a play. This is not to say that there aren't some musicals that are really hard to understand, such as Hamilton, Operation Mincemeat. These are the musicals that are really word heavy, so I would probably stay away from those types of musicals. But in the second part of this video, I'm going to share 5 musicals that I think are perfect for you, so stick around for that. My third tip is to go for musicals that are familiar to you, and that is because a lot of the stories have been first maybe put on stage and then they became movies, and I'm going to talk about a couple of those afterwards. And that means that if you're going to see one of these musicals, you're going to see a story that you're already familiar with, just it's packaged a little bit differently, or some songs are added to it, so it would be really easy for you to follow it if you know the story from seeing it on the screen. My fourth tip is around booking your tickets. If you know when you're coming to London and you like to plan ahead, then probably the best solution for you is to book your tickets as far in advance as you can, because this will make sure that you can get the seats that you want, that the prices are a little bit cheaper, and that you can plan your time in London in accordance to when you are seeing this show. I have done a whole video here about finding the cheapest tickets in London, so I'm not going to go into detail in here, but definitely check out this video if that is what you are interested to hear about. And my 5th tip is to make sure to leave plenty of time ahead of the show to find the theatre, because on the West End you're not really allowed to enter the theatre once the show has started, and if you're not really familiar with the city, you might get lost. All theatres on the West End are within walking distance from one another, but sometimes they are on the street to the side, so I always account about 45 minutes to get to the theatre, find my spots, and really settle in. So I would say if you don't know London that well and you need to figure out where you're coming from, definitely leave about an hour for a journey depending on where you are. Now when we got the tips out of the way, let's focus on 5 shows that I think you should check out if English isn't your first language. And the first show on my list is Moulin Rouge. This is the musical that follows the exact same story from the movie of the same name with Nicole Kidman, and it follows 2 people who fall in love in a very unexpected way, but their love is troubled. If you're not familiar with the movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but this is a jukebox musical, which means that there are a lot of songs that you are going to be familiar with in this musical, such as Beyonce, Elton John, The Beatles, Katy Perry, you name it. There are so many amazing hits that are very well known, and with these familiar songs being sung, it is much easier to get into the narrative and enjoy the story. Another amazing thing about this musical is the set. Once you enter the theater, you really feel like you're in this cabaret-esque style. Moulin Rouge, maybe even in Paris. It just looks amazing, and it's proper musical theater extravaganza that you should experience if you're visiting London for the first time. On to the show number 2, and that is very popular Mamma Mia. This show has been on the West End for 25 years, and not only that, bad, but it has been adapted into a movie with Meryl Streep. The famous Mamma Mia movie actually originated on the West End. It follows the journey of Sophie, who invites 3 of her potential dads to the wedding. And the best part about this is that it's all through ABBA songs. If you're an ABBA fan and you want to hear Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia, Money, 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 all of these songs are featured and more. If you know the movie and the story from the movie and you go to the West End, you're going to be able to follow this musical so easily, and you're just going to enjoy the performances on the stage. My third recommendation goes to The Lion King. This musical follows the exact same story from much beloved Disney cartoon of the same name, and besides amazing music and beautiful set and everything that is happening on the stage that sometimes really looks like magic, I think it's truly incredible to see their costumes. These costumes are something like you've never seen, and the way that choreographies are done, it just really follows the natural way that the animals would move. You really get immersed into the story, and it has been going strong for decades, and there are so many people who come and see this show when they come to London, so don't miss it out. The fourth show that I have for you is Tina, the Tina Turner musical. This musical follows the story of Tina Turner and her amazing life and career, and if you are a fan of her work and her songs, then you're gonna love it. I need to share that this isn't like fully happy musical because her life has had a lot of troubles and there are some scenes of violence, but generally it is an uplifting story. It celebrates her life, it celebrates her work. If you love her songs, you're gonna enjoy seeing Proud Mary, The Best, all those amazing songs live, and there's great band, there's great performers. This show was put together while she was alive, so she has come and seen this show, and it's kind of like Tina approved, so definitely if you like her as a performer, then this is the best show that you can see on the West End. My fifth recommendation goes to the longest running musical on the West End, and that is Les Miserables. You might know this musical from the movie of the same name with Anne Hathaway, Eddie Redmayne, Hugh Jackman, that was released in 2012. If you have seen it, then this musical follows the exact same story. The movie is based on the musical, so this is the original story. The story isn't particularly happy one, but there are a lot of uplifting moments in the musical. It follows Jean Valjean, who is a convict who escaped prison and became a mayor of the town, and afterwards he's been chased. This is all happening in the middle of the French Revolution, and there are so many different characters and their stories that are intertwined with his. A lot of this musical is about people coming together and how far they're willing to go for each other, and ultimately it is a story about life in this specific moment of time. It is one of the most iconic musicals that you can see on the West End. I hope that this video has convinced you that if you're visiting London, you have to go and check out a West End show. There are plenty of other theater reviews on my channel, so check them out if you're interested into something else. If you are looking for the best ways to buy the tickets, then check out this video where I'm talking more about my tips and tricks.